All right, so let's start with the big story that we are tracking on WION at this hour. The Israeli forces continue with their relentless offensive on the Gaza Strip. And at this moment as we speak, the focus is on the biggest medical facility in the Gaza City, which is the Al-Shifa hospital. And according to reports that have come in, the Israeli forces have completely surrounded the Al-Shifa hospital. The humanitarian situation continues to deteriorate. But now, interestingly, the Israeli military claims that it is ready to evacuate the babies from inside of the hospital. Now, at this moment, the Palestinians have said that at least about 3 babies within the Al-Shifa hospital have died because the hospital has now technically gone out of service because it has no fuel left whatsoever. Now, remember, this is the same hospital where the Palestinian officials had earlier said that 2 newborns had died and dozens more are at risk of getting killed because the incubators where these young infants were kept do not have access to electricity. They do not have oxygen. Now, the Israeli military says that the hospital staff has requested for assistance to transfer the babies to a safer hospital, and the Israelis now claim that they are willing to save the lives of Palestinian babies where the incubators have run out of oxygen.
The east side of the hospital is open on Gaza Street for the safe pass of Gazans who wish to leave the hospital. We're speaking directly and regularly with the hospital staff. The staff of the Shifa hospital has requested that tomorrow we will help the babies in the pediatric department to get to a safer hospital. We will provide the assistance needed.
Now, the United Nations has said that there are a significant number of deaths that have been reported in the facilities, the hospital facilities in the Gaza City, where hundreds and hundreds of Palestinians have taken refuge to escape from the campaign of bombing that Israel has been carrying on for more than a month. Russia's emergency ministry has said that the evacuation of Russian nationals from the Gaza Strip into Egypt has begun. An estimated 60 Russian passport holders have now crossed over into Egypt. The Israeli military has also released videos showing the continued ground assault inside of the Gaza Strip, where Israeli military tanks are said to be firing on targets that Israel claims are Hamas structures. But what is to be pointed out is that nearly about 50% of all buildings in the Gaza Strip have been very badly damaged. Nearly about 40,000 homes and business establishments have been completely razed to the ground. The Israelis also claim that they found a number of weapons inside of a kindergarten. This is an Israeli claim that at this moment cannot be verified. They've also said that they've destroyed dozens of tunnel openings. The Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu has said that his aim for Israel is to take control of the Gaza Strip for an indefinite period of time. He's also added that Israel wants to be able to re-enter into the Gaza Strip whenever it feels necessary.
לא נעצור עד השלמת המשימה.
And amidst the continued fighting, Hamas has said that it had completely or partially destroyed an estimated 160 Israeli military targets in the Gaza Strip, including more than 25 of Israel's armored vehicles and tanks in the last 48 hours. Now, Hamas's armed wing, the Al-Qassam brigades, have released a video that show the manner in which the Hamas fighters have been targeting the Israeli army vehicles inside of the Gaza Strip. Keep in mind that the Hamas fighters are using these very crude rocket launchers and anti-tank weapons to take down several Israeli tanks that have now ventured into the Gaza Strip. Meanwhile, Hezbollah's chief Hassan Nasrallah has said that the group is using some new weapons in its attacks against Israel. On the other hand, the top-notch Israeli fighter jets have continued their campaign of bombing inside, not just of Gaza, but also in Syria. The Israeli military claims that this was in response to some cross-border fire that was directed at the occupied Syrian Golan Heights, where 2 projectiles reportedly were fired from Syria. Now, several people have reportedly been killed and others are injured in an air bombing by Israel that has targeted the city of Rafah along the border with Egypt. The Rafah border crossing is very crucial. It is again reopened on Sunday for foreign passport holders after it had shut for business on Friday. The Egyptian sources have said that the Rafah border crossing will begin operating again from this week on for foreigners to flee from Gaza and also for certain evacuees who've managed to get permissions. And also another important and a crucial development about a potential two-state solution where a vote was held at the United Nations, and India is amongst the 145 nations that has voted in favor of the United Nations resolution that condemns unequivocally the illegal Israeli settlements in occupied Palestinian lands. The United Nations draft resolution titled Israeli Settlements in the Occupied Palestinian Territory included regions of East Jerusalem, the occupied Syrian Golan Heights, and this was passed by an overwhelming majority, and only Israel and the United States were the two big nations that voted against this resolution, along with a few other small, tiny nations. According to the Israeli media, there is some progress that has been made in striking a deal to try and rescue and secure the release of the hostages who are in the custody of Hamas. The deal apparently involves the exchange of Israeli hostages by Hamas in return for Palestinian women and children who at this point of time are in Israeli prisons, quite often without any charges having been leveled against them.